Baseball culture is notorious for superstitions, like not talking about no-hitters while they're going on, a player that will lick his bat in between pitches, a player that wore a golden thong during games, and a player that peed on his hands every single game, as well as curses that prevents teams from winning championships for nearly hundreds of years. These curses can be set by a goat, a scandal, or even Babe Ruth himself. During a slump with his new team, the Yankees, Jason Shinobi, who bought his thong with him from his old team Oakland, admitted to wearing it during games, and other Yankees like Derek Jeter also claimed to wear it too. And it kinda worked. He finished his time with the Yankees with 3 All-Star appearances, finishing 5th in MVP voting, and for 2 seasons led the league in walks. Yasiel Puig is also notorious for his superstition. He was an all-offensive weapon for the Dodgers in 2017, posting 28 home runs, 74 RBIs, and 15 stolen bases, but he is known for licking his bat in between pitches. The reason for doing it is so that he can reward the bat, and the bat give him good hits and home runs. Once again, this might have worked for him. During the 2017 World Series, he totaled 4 hits, 2 home runs, and 4 RBIs. However, the Dodgers lost in 7 games to the Astros, before the Astros was called out for using buzzers and trash cans to steal other teams' signs. It was the biggest scandal in modern baseball history. The only other scandal like this happened in 1919. The 1919 World Series was a matchup between the White Sox and the Reds. A group of 8 White Sox players who was displeased with the owner and wanted more money was bribed by the Chicago mob to fix the series. They lost the 9-game series 5-3. All 8 players, including Joe Jackson and Lefty Williams, was banned from the MLB. Some believe it was the start of a curse for the White Sox, who didn't win another World Series until 2005, where they swept the Astros, who 2 years earlier had a group of Cubs fans try to enter their stadium with a goat. When they was denied access, they unrolled a scroll and tried to pass a 71-year curse to them. During Game 4 of the 1945 World Series, a guy brought his pet goat to Wrigley Field. It was annoying and disturbing to the fans that was trying to watch the game, so they asked him to leave the stadium. Outraged, the man stated, "Them Cubs, they are not going to win no more." And they didn't. On September 9th, 1969, the Cubs played the New York Mets in a crucial pennant race game. A stray black cat walked between the Cubs captain, who was on deck, and the Cubs dugout. The Mets would eventually win that series. In 1984, in the first playoff appearance for the Cubs since 1945, they lost to the San Diego Padres in the NLCS. The Cubs won the first 2 games, but in Game 5, the first baseman, Leon Duran, let a ground ball past his glove in the bottom of the 7th inning, and the Padres went on to score 4 runs to win the game and the series. In 2003, the Chinese Year of the Goat, a group of Cubs fans headed to Houston with a billy goat and attempted to gain entrance to the Astros Stadium, who was the divisional rivals of the Cubs at the time. After they was denied entrance, they unrolled a scroll and read a verse and proclaimed that they was reversing the curse to the Astros. The Cubs won the division that year and made it to the NLCS against the Marlins. Heading into Game 6, the Cubs held a 3-2 lead in the series. However, in the 8th inning of that game, with the Cubs ahead 3-0, Steve Bartman, a Cubs fan, reached for a foul ball, deflecting it and disrupting a potential catch by Cubs outfielder Moise Alou. If Alou would have caught that ball, it would have been the 2nd out of the inning, and the Cubs would have been just 4 outs away from winning their first pennant since 1945. The Cubs would lose the series, and the Marlins would eventually go on to win the World Series against the New York Yankees. Babe Ruth is always going to be remembered as a New York Yankee. He joined the league in 1914 at only 19 years old. In 1919, he led the league in RBIs, runs, and home runs. However, at the end of the season, Babe Ruth announced that he wanted his salary doubled to a league-high $20,000. After that, the Red Sox owner was fed up with him and decided to trade him. He had 2 offers: trade him to the Yankees for $100,000 or trade him to the White Sox for Joe Jackson, who a year earlier was in the Blackhawks scandal. Eventually, the Yankees' offer won, and he was shipped off to New York. After the sale of Babe Ruth, the Yankees became one of the most dominant professional sports teams in North America history, winning more than twice as many World Series titles as any other MLB team, while the Red Sox began their 86-year-long drought. Before Babe Ruth left Boston, the Red Sox had won 5 World Series, with Babe Ruth pitching for the 1916 and the 1918 championship teams. The Yankees had not played in a World Series up to that point, and the 84 years after the sale, the Yankees played in 39 World Series, winning 26 of them. In 1946, the Red Sox appeared in the first World Series since the sale of Babe Ruth, and was favored to beat the St. Louis Cardinals. They lost by 1 run in Game 7 of that series. In 1948, the Red Sox finished the regular season tied for first place. They lost to the Cleveland Indians in the first ever one-game playoff. In 1949, the Red Sox did 1 win to win the pennant, but lost the last 2 games of the season to the Yankees. In 1967, the Red Sox won the American League pennant. In the World Series, they once again faced the Cardinals, and the series went to a Game 7. St. Louis won the game 7-2 behind their best pitcher, Bob Gibson. Gibson threw a complete game and also hit a home run against the Red Sox ace. And probably the most famous case of the curse was in Game 6 of the 1986 World Series against the New York Mets. Boston, who was leading the series 3-2, took a 5-3 lead in the top of the 10th inning. They went on to blow the lead on a wild pitch, and the New York Mets won the game when Bill Buckner, the first baseman for the Red Sox, allowed a ground ball to roll past his legs, and in the 7th game, the Red Sox took an early 3-0 lead, only to lose 8-5. In the 2004 ALCS, the New York Yankees held a 3-0 series lead against the Red Sox. The Red Sox trailed 4-3 in the bottom of the 9th inning of Game 4. But the Red Sox rallied to tie the game and won on a 2-run homer in the 12th inning by David Ortiz. The Red Sox went on to win the next 3 games to become the first and only MLB team to win a 7-game playoff series after losing the first 3 games. And once again, the Red Sox faced the St. Louis Cardinals in the World Series. They finally broke the curse when they swept them in 4 games, with the final out being a Cardinals player who wore the same number as Babe Ruth. Marlis Alou, who was the Cubs player that was robbed of a potential ring by Bob Bartman, peed on his hands during the season to keep his hands healthy, as well to give him better grip on the bat. As crazy as that sounds, it might be more common than you think. Alou did not use gloves when he batted. Instead, he revealed, during the baseball season he would urinate on his hands to toughen them up. The press had a field day with this information, with headlines like, "You're in good hands," and "Mr. P Hands." Jorge Posada claimed to do this, but only during spring training. And current Cubs pitcher Jameson Talon stated in an interview that he would have been open to his teammates peeing on his hands if it would have helped a cut that he got so he can get back to pitching faster. Baseball wouldn't be the same without superstitions, and if you ask Hall of Fame stars if they would be good without their own superstitions, then they would probably tell you that they wouldn't be able to hit a ball off a tee. I don't know how much superstitions and curses contributed to a player's success or a team's downfall. All I know is that they are taken very seriously and will be for the rest of baseball history.